In the beginning, God created. I have a question. Have you ever felt it? That quiet hum inside, a restlessness in your soul that has perhaps nothing to do with your to-do list. It's a deeper thing, a yearning, the desire to make something new. To take the jumbled, chaotic pieces of your inner world and give them form. A melody, a garden, a business plan sketched on a napkin, a conversation that finally speaks truth. Dieter F. Uchtdorf, a wise and gentle leader, said that, quote, "The desire to create is one of the deepest yearnings of the human soul." He said it's because we are the spirit children of the most creative being in the universe. Think about that. Your desire to create isn't a hobby. It isn't a quirk. It is your divine DNA singing a song it remembers from a life before this one. It's an echo of a moment when we, as spirit children, shouted for joy as the foundations of this world were laid. For millennia, we've tried to describe these deep inner workings of the human spirit through poetry, philosophy, and scripture. And today, I want to share a language with you, a framework that I have found to be breathtakingly articulate in describing these energies, these themes of lives. It's called human design. Now, don't worry, this isn't about putting you in a box, predicting your future. In fact, it's about liberating you from the boxes you were never meant to be in. Think of human design not as a rigid set of rules, but a sophisticated language, a map of your unique energetic blueprint. And the very first character in this alphabet, the primal driving force of all new beginnings, is what we call simply Gate 1, or the creative. It's found in the Bible in the very first verse. In the beginning, God created. Creation is the inaugural act of divinity. And Gate 1 is the energy of that first verb. It is the impulse that said, "Let there be light," not just in the cosmos, but in your life. So what is this energy really? On a human design chart, your personal map, it sits in what we call the G center, or I call the center of identity and love and direction. It's the diamond at that center of your chest. This tells us something profound. Your creativity is inextricably linked to your identity, to who you are. But Gate 1 isn't a static trait, like having brown eyes. It's a process. It's a living energy. And to understand it, we need to think not in terms of on or off, but in terms of sliders, like on a cosmic mixing board. First, there's the intensity slider. Some days, the creative urge is a gentle whisper, a quiet nudge to journal or hum a new tune. Other days, it's a wildfire, a roaring blaze that keeps you up all night, possessed by an idea until you give it form. Neither is better than the other. The wise creative learns to honor both the bonfire and the ember. Then there's the frequency slider. How often does this energy pulse? For those with Gate 1 defined in their chart, meaning it's a constant part of their nature, this pulse might be a regular rhythm. But for all of us, this energy is cyclical. It has an ebb and flow. There will be seasons of exhilarating output, and there will be seasons of quiet, of emptiness, what the mystics call the creative melancholy. And this is where so many of us misunderstand ourselves. We feel that emptiness and we think something is broken. We call it writer's block. We call it a funk. We call it failure. But Gate 1 teaches us that the void is not a sign of absence, but of preparation. It is the fertile darkness of the soil before the seed sprouts. It is the silence between the notes that makes the music beautiful. The melancholy is not a malfunction. It is part of the sacred process. And that brings us to the most important slider, quality. The slider determines the nature, the very spirit of what you create. It moves along a spectrum, a journey of consciousness that we are all on. At the low end of the quality slider, we find the shadow of entropy. Entropy is the state of decay. It's creative blockage. It's the feeling of being numb, aimless, adrift in a gray sea of meaninglessness. It's scrolling through your phone for hours, feeling your life force drain away. It's the voice that whispers, "What's the point? Nothing you do matters. You're not good enough anyway." This is more than just a bad mood. It's a spiritual malaise. It is the feeling of being disconnected from your own divine light. There's a story of someone who spent 6 months trying to write a book. Every day they would sit down and nothing. Just a flat, dead silence. The voice of entropy was deafening. "You're a fraud," it said. "You have nothing new to say." They were in the wilderness, convinced their well had run dry forever. But here is the secret of the shadow. It contains the seed of its own release. The pain of entropy, if you have the courage to face it, becomes the very pressure that cracks the seed open. It's the moment the prodigal son, sitting in the mud with the pigs, finally came to himself. And when that seed cracks, you experience next the gift of freshness. Freshness is the dawn after long night. It's the rain after a drought. It's the sudden, unexpected idea that changes everything. It's looking at the same old problem with brand new eyes. After those 6 months of silence, that person woke up one morning with a single sentence in their head, a sentence that had nothing to do with the book they were trying to write. It was fresh, it was alive, and it became the first line of the book they were meant to write. Freshness is the gift of renewal. In our spiritual language, it is the feeling of being born again. It's when we stop trying to force our own will and instead we ask a different question. What wants to be created through me? It's the brother of Jared in the Book of Mormon in the dark barges, not just complaining, but having a fresh creative idea. "Oh Lord, could you touch these stones?" This is the faith in action. The Lord meets the creative faith with His power. And if we continue to cultivate that freshness, to align our creative acts with truth and love, we may be graced with glimpses of the highest expression of Gate 1, beauty. This is not superficial beauty of aesthetics. This is what the scriptures call the beauty of holiness. It is a state of consciousness where you see the divine pattern in everything. The creator and the creation merge. Your very existence becomes an expression of cosmic artistry. You see the world through God's eyes, and behold, it is all very good. Christ was the perfect embodiment of this beauty. Every action, every word, every healing was a creative act of perfect love, revealing the beautiful character of God. He didn't just heal the leper, He touched him, and a creative act of compassion that restored not just his body, but his humanity. He didn't just teach rules, He told parables, creative stories that planted seeds of truth in the heart. The highest expression, this beauty, is knowing that your life is the art. And when you live it in harmony with the divine, it becomes a masterpiece. This journey from dark wood of entropy to the clear meadow of freshness and up to the sunlit mountains of beauty is a sacred pilgrimage. A poet once tried to capture it. Maybe they were channeling Gate 1 when they wrote this. The room was dark, the air was old, the story petrified and cold. My soul, a cup of dust and rust, had long forgotten sacred trust. This is the void, the winter ground, where not a single hope is found. This is the ache of entropy, the ghost of what I meant to be. Then, through a crack in my despair, a thread of gold, a whispered prayer, a single note, I knew not whence, that broke the spell of numb pretense. A foolish, wild, and simple thought, a battle I had never fought, and with that spark, a tiny flame, the universe sang back my name. This is the gift of being new, the world washed clean and in morning dew. This is the taste of freshness, deep awakened from a deadly sleep. And I arise and learn to mend. Mine own small will begins to blend with that great artist's loving hand who shapes the sea and sculpts the land. My life becomes the clay he holds, a greater, grander tale untold. And in the eye of all I meet, a holy shared reflection sweet. This is the state of endless grace, seeing God smile in every face. This is the truth our spirit sees, beauty in all, and all is peace. That journey is the journey of Gate 1. But it doesn't just happen in a vacuum. It happens within a large council of our being. Okay, so imagine your inner council, your inner self as a council. Around the table sits logic, emotion, fear, duty, and many others. Human design teaches us to honor our primary inner authority, the head of the council, but every voice deserves a seat on the table. Gate 1 is the counselor of innovation and authenticity. When your council is facing a decision, logic might say, here's the safe, proven path. Fear will say, what if we fail? And Gate 1, the innovator, clears its throat and says, but what if we tried something entirely new? What if we created a solution that is uniquely us? A healthy inner council doesn't let any one voice become a tyrant. It seeks alignment, a harmonious decision confirmed by the higher light, the spirit. We are invited to study it out in our mind. Let the council deliberate, and then take it to the Lord. Gate 1's job is to make sure the proposals you take to the Lord aren't just rote and fearful, but expansive and full of faithful possibility. And this creative voice is part of a larger energy circuit in your design, the individual circuit. This is the energy of mutation, of empowerment. It's the energy of the trendsetter, the innovator, the rebel with a cause. It often feels different, even lonely. Its keynote is empowerment, not through force, but through example. When you live your truth, you unknowingly give others permission to live theirs. When Gate 1 is in your identity center, it connects to Gate 8 in your throat center. You form the channel of the creative role model. This is the innovator who can also share their vision. But here's the key, it's a projected channel. This means it works best when recognized and invited. This isn't about waiting passively for permission. It's about aligning timing. It's the wisdom to not cast your pearls before those who will trample them. It's Esther's waiting for the king to extend his scepter before she made her bold, creative plea that saved her people. When the invitation comes, when the timing is right, the impact of your creative contribution can be world-changing. Now, you might be thinking, this is fascinating, but what if I don't have the gate, quote, defined in my chart? Well, this is one of the most beautiful truths of human design illuminates. We all have access to every gate's energy. These are all themes of every one of our lives. Definition in your chart simply points to your consistent, reliable nature. If you have Gate 1 defined, creativity is, I guess, your home frequency. It's the instrument you were born to play. Denying it will likely lead to dissonance in your life. But if you have it undefined or open, you are not lacking. You are perhaps a gifted musician who can learn to play any instrument in the orchestra. Your environment and your choices, your nurture, play a profound role in how you experience and express this energy. You might amplify the creativity of those around you. You have the wisdom of versatility. The point is this: we are all developing a relationship with this creative energy. The question is not, do I have it? But what is the quality of my relationship with it? Your nurture, your upbringing, your choices, they all set the quality slider we talked about. But here's the good news. No matter where the slider has been set by your past, you, through your agency and with God's help, can change its setting today. And this brings us to the heart of it, the grand connection. I've had many friends, brilliant people, who felt lost in traditional structures. They felt the stirring of their soul, but couldn't find a language for it, and so they went searching. And many found things like human design. And some teachers might use those tools to sound mystical, to mix in philosophies that can lead one further into the wilderness. But what if these frameworks, when viewed through the lens of truth, are not a replacement for God, but a signpost pointing back to God? What if the principles we're discovering in this new language are actually echoes of eternal truths we've known all along? The journey of Gate 1, from darkness of entropy to the renewal of freshness to the radiant light of beauty, is the same journey of the gospel. It is the story of the fall, the atonement, the exaltation. We all experience a fall into a state of shadow, of disconnection. And through the grace of Jesus Christ, we are offered a renewal, a rebirth. He is the source of all freshness. And his promise is to lead us toward a state of perfected beauty, to become like our heavenly parents, creators of worlds without end. Christ is the flawless manifestation of Gate 1. He is the Logos, the Word, through whom all things were made. His life was the ultimate creative act of love, taking the broken elements of a fallen world and transforming them into a path of salvation. He looked at humanity stuck in entropy, and through the atonement offered a way to a state of eternal freshness and beauty. When you feel the creative melancholy, you are touching upon the sorrow Christ felt in Gethsemane. When you feel that spark of a new idea, you are feeling a sliver of the light of Christ that is in all things. And when you create something beautiful that lifts another's soul, you are participating in the work of God. So this isn't just an interesting idea. It is an invitation to see your life as your great creative project, your magnum opus. I want you to leave here today and ask yourself one question. What is the one creative act, however small, that my soul is asking of me? Maybe it's not to write a symphony. Maybe it's to write a letter of forgiveness you've put off for years. That is a creative act at the highest order. Maybe it's to plant a small garden in your yard, to co-create beauty with the earth. Maybe it's to start a journal, giving form to the thoughts that have been wandering in your mind. Maybe it's simply to speak your truth with love in a relationship that has been living in pretense. Whatever it is, I implore you to honor it. That quiet hum inside you is not random. It is a divine call, a call to participate in the ongoing creation of the universe. Your unique, authentic expression is not a luxury. It is not selfish. It is essential. It is a thread that only you can weave in the grand, beautiful tapestry of God's plan. So, take up your needle, pick up your pen, raise your voice, create it with courage, create it with love, and create it in concert with the divine. And with that, thank you and good night.